And the Harris campaign is seeing growing support from an unexpected source, fans of pop sensation Charli XCX.
At 360, when you're in the mirror, do you know what you see?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
And everywhere I'm so Julia.
You exist in the content.
666 with a princess streak. I'm everywhere, I'm so Julia.
Of all in which you lived and what came before you.
You're just watching one of the many edits of Kamala Harris over songs from Charli XCX's viral album, Brat. Fans of the pop star say Kamala's energy matches the album's message of enjoying life in spite of the struggles that you're facing. The clips caught the attention of Charli XCX, who seemingly endorsed Harris, posting, "Kamala is Brat" on X. So, can Kamala Harris turn these memes into votes? Joining us to discuss the power of social media in campaigning is Abigail DeKosnik in San Francisco. Abigail is an associate professor at the Berkeley Center for New Media at UC Berkeley. Abigail, thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you.
And big thank you to our young producers for explaining to me what being Brat is, and it's a good thing. Kamala is Brat is an excellent endorsement, even though Charli XCX is British. But this is huge for younger people, for people who do speak the lingo. Tell me, how big are moments like these in attracting the attention of younger voters?
The Brat moment for the Harris campaign is tremendous. It is bringing so much enthusiasm, so much energy, so much positivity among young American voters to the Harris campaign. You literally couldn't buy an endorsement like the one Charli XCX gave Kamala Harris on Sunday.
And Abigail, this is not the only type of meme that has emerged around Kamala Harris. I have seen fan art of her as Rosie the Riveter with her, arms flexed. I've seen one of her as Lady Liberty holding the torch, or like the Statue of Liberty. I've seen one of her as Captain America. People are getting really creative, and a lot of those do come from younger social media users. Why do you think some of Gen Z, has coalesced around Kamala Harris as their candidate? Kamala Harris, who is Gen X?
Right. Well, Kamala Harris is very memeable. She's extremely expressive. She laughs a lot. In fact, her opposition, the Trump campaign, has already tried to use laughing Kamala as an insult, which, of course, the K-Hive, Kamala Harris's fandom, has just repurposed into a positive rather than a negative. So she laughs, she dances, she has really geeky interests like Venn diagrams, and she says these pithy, off-the-cuff kinds of short sayings like, quoting her mother, "Do you think you just fell out of a coconut tree?" that are just really memeable. It's easy to make TikTok videos from them. It's easy to excerpt Kamala Harris singing "The Wheels of the Bus Go Round and Round" while walking to her election bus. That's, a 6-second video that spreads. So I think there is something within Kamala Harris, just her style of presentation and performance, that makes her meme-worthy. And I also think the Gen Z social media influencers have a kind of parasocial relationship to her. They call her Mamala, they call her Big Sister General, which is an inside joke between Kamala Harris and her sister. And they like to relate to her the same way they like to relate to other celebrities as mother or father. So Kamala Harris just occupies a good space that sparks the imagination in Gen Z, I think.
It's interesting when you say that they refer to her as Mama. That is the moniker that I believe her stepchildren have given her. Obviously, a very affectionate one, connoting an intimacy. But let's talk about, can this translate into actual votes? We know that those elusive younger voters, Gen Z, they're so hard to engage. Typically, this is a generation that votes the least in Canada as well as in the U.S. We know that some of the big concerns that the youngest generation of eligible voters has includes the U.S. position on the war in the Middle East, on the Israel-Hamas war. And we don't yet know whether Vice President Harris will be different on that specific issue than President Joe Biden. So when it comes to this, attracts the attention. It makes the heart grow fonder. But of course, memes change daily, and the road to November is long. How much of an effect do you think that this kind of initial attraction to her as a personality, to her energy, can have into translating into actual votes for people who, one, don't tend to vote very much, and two, may not like some of her political stances?
I agree that apathy is absolutely the biggest obstacle that the Harris campaign faces right now. As with any Democratic nominee, getting voters to turn out is the #1 priority. And the good thing about meme culture and this upswell of social media affection for Kamala Harris is that it is making her the dominant candidate, the dominant favorite by far among Gen Z. But you're right, the Harris campaign has to do absolutely everything it can to get out the vote, especially with younger voters. If I were the Harris campaign, I would start to post links to voter registration sites on TikTok videos in the comments. I would start asking social media influencers to pin voter registration info. I would beg Taylor Swift to have voter registration booths at the last of her era's concert dates in the United States this October. I think everything possible that can be done to get younger voters registered and to get them to turn out must be done by the Harris campaign in the next 4 months.
To galvanize this initial attraction to her as a candidate. Abigail, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Abigail DeKosnik, and she joined me from San Francisco.